This is page 88, using reciprocals to divide fractions. On previous pages, you have learned what a reciprocal is. And you also drew a conclusion that your conclusion was basically this sentence right here. Dividing a fraction is equivalent to multiplying by its reciprocal. So let's analyze what's happening right here. Our first fraction, 1/5, stays 1/5. Nothing ever changes about the first fraction. The operation changes from division to multiplication, and the second fraction is what changes. 1/4 changes to its reciprocal of 4/1. So you always just take the first fraction, leave it alone, take the second fraction, and rewrite it as its reciprocal, and then change it to multiplication, and then you can see that 1 times 4 is 4, and 5 times 1 is 5. The answer is 4/5. Let's go practice it on the example 2 below and at the bottom of the page. I'm going to go ahead and put a whiteboard down. If the problem were 5/9, here's the problem right here. 5/9 divided by 2/3. What I do is I leave the first fraction alone. I change it to multiply. I change it to the reciprocal of 3/2. I then could either multiply 5 times 3 and 9 times 2, or better, I should simplify 3 and 9. They share a factor of 3. 9 becomes 3 and 3 becomes 1. And I've got 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. The answer is 5/6. The answer is 5/6. Alright, let's check out the page, your turn at the bottom of the page. If you think you're ready for these, great. You can pause the video, try these two problems, and play the video when you're ready to check your answer. Number 10. 9/10 divided by 2/5 is the same thing as 9/10 times 5/2. Simplify 9 and 2 do not share a factor, but 5 and 10 do. 5 and 10 are each divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now I've got 9 times 1 is 9. And 2 times 2 is 4. 9 divided by 4 is 2, with 1 left over. So it's 2 1/4. Let's check out the next one. Number 11. 9/10 divided by 3/5 is the same thing as 9/10 times 5/3. I've got lots of things to simplify. This is going to be a total mess. I've got lots of things to simplify here. 9 and 3 are each divisible by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 and 10 are each divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I end up with 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 3/2 is the same as 1 1/2. Cool. Well, if you think you understand how to divide fractions, you can go ahead and solve the guided practice problems at the bottom of the page. Numbers 1 through 3 simply ask you to find the reciprocal of each fraction. That's just where you invert the numerator and the denominator. So the reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. You could write this as 9/1 or 9. And you could write this one as 3/10. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 ask you to divide. I'm going to show all my work. I'm going to probably write kind of small so we can see everything. Number 4. 4/3 divided by 5/3 is the same thing as 4/3 times 3/5. My 3's simplify. 3 and 3 are each divisible by 3. So now I have 4 times 1 is 4. And 1 times 5 is 5. The answer is 4/5. Number 5 is 3/10 divided by 4/5. 3/10 divided by 4/5 is the same thing as 3/10 times 5/4. 5 and 10 simplify. 5 goes into itself once. 5 goes into 10 twice. Now I've got 3 times 1, that's 3. 2 times 4 is 8. I've got 3/8. And number 6. 1/2 divided by 2/5 is the same thing as 1/2 times 5/2. And nothing simplifies. 5 and 2 don't share a factor. 1 and 2 don't share a factor. So I end up with 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 2 is 4. And 5 divided by 4 is 1 whole, with 1 left over. So I get 1 1/4. Okay, we've got one check-in question at the bottom. This is one of the easier ones. How do you divide fractions? Multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. That's it. It's that simple. If you wanted to even be simpler, multiply by the reciprocal. We're saying the same thing there, but one is just saying it in less words. Do you see that? I've got to make sure to bring it into the screen. Okay, great job. You are done with page 88.